My friend, how is your day going? Is everything okay? There's a question many people have been holding in their hearts. When Walk for Peace reaches Washington, D.C., what happens next? Does the journey close, or does it only begin in a deeper way? Because here in America, so many people are living through another kind of walk, one no one sees and no one applauds. Long shifts just to keep up with rent, medical bills that steal sleep, loneliness in the middle of a crowded city, the feeling that you have to look strong even when you're worn out inside. And maybe what we need most isn't a place to arrive, but a way to make it through. If peace isn't found in life suddenly becoming easy, but in the fact that we can still slow our breath, soften, and keep going with kindness. If you're still listening, maybe you already have your own answer, don't you? Walk for Peace isn't just a route on a map. It's a way of living. Because the truest walk for peace is that we keep walking together, not only with our feet, but in how we live through each day, in how we speak to ourselves when we're disappointed, in how we treat the people we love when we're under stress, in how we keep our kindness even when we're tired. And that's why this walk will never truly end, because peace is the path we walk together, always and forever, as we walk through every condition.
Our steps carry us through sun and rain, through dry roads and wet ones, through snow and warmth, through noise and the blessing of quiet, through crowds and peaceful solitude. Some days are gentle and kind. Some days surprise us with unexpected beauty or unexpected trials. And isn't that just like life? There are times when everything flows smoothly. The road ahead feels clear. Our steps feel light. And then there are times, maybe some of us are facing this right now, when the path feels rough, when thorns keep appearing, when we feel cold or exhausted or unsteady about what comes next, and it becomes hard to take even one more step. In America, that's happening to so many people. Not always because of one big event. Sometimes it's simply too much piling up all at once. Rising rent pressure, the cost of living making you sigh at the checkout line, a packed work schedule that leaves you no time for yourself, a relationship that's cracked and you don't know where to begin mending it, a low, constant worry about the future when the world changes faster than your heart can adjust. Some people are carrying burnout, not the kind of tiredness a single good night of sleep can fix, but the kind that leaves you thinking, I don't even recognize myself anymore. Some people are fighting anxiety, sleepless nights filled with thoughts, a racing heart just because an email arrives late, moments of panic that no one else understands. Some people are living with loneliness. In a country that's crowded, modern, always connected, you can still feel lonely enough to ache. Because being connected is not the same as being understood. And some people are weighed down by division, families split by differences, friends drifting apart over beliefs, conversations turning into arguments. And sometimes the deepest pain isn't who's right or wrong. It's that we've lost tenderness with one another. The weather of our lives changes without asking permission. Sunlight gives way to storms we never saw coming. Ease gives way to struggle. Joy and hardship sit side by side in our hearts. We can't control these things, no matter how hard we try. We can't demand that life gives us only gentle days. But here is what we can do, and it changes everything. We can choose the path of peace in our own minds. Not by denying suffering, not by pretending I'm fine, but by laying down one more layer of resistance. And the simplest way to begin is smaller than we think. One breath.
Wake up and walk toward the light with the lamp of mindfulness. If the mind is still restless, we can practice counting the breath. One in-breath, one out-breath, we count that as one. Two in-breaths, two out-breaths, we count that as two. And so on. Each pair of in and out becomes a number. In one, out one. In two, out two. So mindfulness can walk alongside every single breath. Some of you may wonder, why do we need to count the breath? Because our consciousness by nature is not yet used to resting in the present moment. We often let our mind drift back into the past, chewing on old pain. Negative seeds, accumulated afflictions, the burdens of life have been engraved deep in the heart, and they keep rising up one after another to disturb us. That is why I compare the mind to a wild monkey. It jumps everywhere, swinging from branch to branch, never willing to rest. And our habits are also like a horse. Why compare them that way? Because when a horse becomes used to a familiar path, it will keep taking that same old trail again and again. We human beings are exactly the same. Once we create a familiar road, once we deeply condition a habit, we unconsciously keep walking that worn-out track, running the old route, living ourselves down into it over and over again. Sometimes, in the middle of life, we suddenly see a flash of awakening, to the right, then to the left, like a heartfelt call. Wake up. Don't keep sinking into those old, worn-out habits. Be strong, stand up, and turn toward a new direction, brighter than before. On the other shore is light. On the other shore is the lifeline. Reach out and take it. Be brave enough to swim to shore, escape that raging current, and you will find freedom and release. And yet, while we're still struggling in the river of karmic force, the water keeps sweeping us away day after day. That fierce current, Buddhism calls it samsara, the world of cyclical suffering. There are times when we have already seen the shore, already tried to reach, tried to swim against the current for a moment, but then we get tired, and we let go. We don't want to keep trying anymore. Because letting ourselves drift along the old path is always easier, even though it is a path of suffering. Even though it doesn't bring happiness, we have become too used to living with it. We hesitate to change. We hesitate to step onto a new and uneven road, the road that would transform us. Deep down, we all hope for a smooth and gentle road to walk. So the moment we trip over a small stone or have to climb even a slight slope, we feel discouraged, defeated, and we complain. I'm so tired, I don't want to walk anymore. And that is the most honest picture of us. Even the great ones, the people who reach the highest levels of success in this world, do they carry pressure?
Yes, their pressure is immense. So why can they still walk steadily through the storm? The secret is this. They know how to manage their own emotions. And what about us? We often let the waterfall of emotions sweep us away. We live and react through old habits, through instinct. And that is why our lives keep circling inside suffering, struggling again and again. Every memory, every seed of goodness and harm has been stored deep in the storehouse consciousness, deep in our mind, deep in our brain. And when conditions are strong enough, when the time is ripe, they rise to the surface of awareness. Then we chew on those thoughts again and again and again. We worry about a distant future and forget that this present moment is the only true place where life is happening. The past is gone. The future has not yet arrived. Only the present is where life is unfolding. So if we want to truly live this moment fully, we need to light the lamp of mindfulness. And when the mind finally softens and settles, we can begin doing something else that changes everything. We can start speaking to ourselves with gentleness. Speaking gently to ourselves. So many of us know how to speak kindly to strangers, how to comfort someone who's hurting, how to use gentle words when someone makes a mistake. And yet, when it comes to ourselves, when we remember our own failures, our own regrets, the moments we wish we could undo, the voice we use becomes harsh. And in America, this is incredibly common because of the culture of be better, be faster, be successful, because social media makes it look like everyone else is doing fine, and because we've learned to measure our worth by productivity, outcomes, and what other people can see. But this inner harshness is a form of violence we do to ourselves every day. And if we can't walk in peace within our own hearts, how can we truly walk in peace in the world? To practice a true walk for peace, we have to change the way we speak to ourselves. When judgment rises in us, maybe instead of, "I'm terrible," we can gently say, "I did the best I could with what I knew then, and now I've learned something new."
When shame grips us, maybe we can imagine holding the hand of a small child who just fell. Would we scold them bitterly or help them with gentleness? Maybe we can use that same gentle voice to speak to our own soul. Instead of drowning in regret, maybe we can use kind words to promise love to this present moment, not demanding perfection from ourselves, but committing to try again, to keep learning. Here is a truth we have to sit with. When we cannot forgive ourselves, we cannot truly forgive anyone else. The harshness we aim at ourselves reveals the way we see and treat others. But when we learn to speak to our own heart with the softest words, when we let old mistakes become nourishment instead of poison, something beautiful begins to happen. Mindfulness blooms, compassion expands, peace takes root, first in us, then flowing naturally outward to everyone we meet. The gentlest voice, the kindest words, the most patient understanding. These shouldn't be reserved only for others. They belong to us, too. May we all learn to speak to ourselves the way we would speak to someone we deeply love who is struggling. And if you ask, so how do I keep following Walk for Peace after this? Maybe the answer is this. You follow it by continuing to walk. You walk on the morning you don't want to get out of bed, but you still stand up, take a deep breath, and say, "Today I'll be kind to myself." You walk in the moment you're about to react in anger, but you pause for half a second and choose silence, choose softness. You walk when you feel lost, and instead of pulling away, you send a message to a friend. You open a small door to connection. You walk when the world feels too loud, and you return to your breath. Just one breath, but a present one. May this journey awaken something inside you. Peace isn't far away. It lives right here, right now. When you become mindful, you don't search for peace in some distant place. You realize it has always been in you, patiently waiting to be noticed. Namo Buddha.